Okay.
Good evening, our friends from around the world. It's Global Politics once again. And with me tonight is Warifa Marcos. My name is still Afolabi Olaluku. We want to delve into the intricate world of international affairs and governance. Today, we turn our focus to Nigeria, a nation that is grappling with profound political and economic challenges. Our discussion today centers around recent explosive comments from a certain Senator Aline Dume, who is supposed to be the chief whip of the African All Progressive Party, who has
All right.
raised serious concerns about the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Ndume allegations highlight some of the manipulations of the government. He says they've hijacked his government and that senators are kakistocrats and kleptocrats. To help me to unpack all of this is once again Warifa Marcos. You're welcome to the show. So basically, do you think what
Thank you,
this
sir.
man said is true? Do you think, because I just want to explain to you, aristocrats are people that are unfit, are inept, and are very, not very, good at their job. People that are not competent.
Okay.
And kleptocrats are people that are thieves, people that steal from government's money. Do you think what Senator Ali Ndume said is actually true? And what are your thoughts about government Bola Tinubu, President Bola Tinubu's, government?
Well, what Ali Ndume said, I will stand with him because in Nigeria right now, the way the politicians, when I say politicians, everybody is included, both the governors, the senators, and the House of Rep, everybody. You see, they are there for the money because if at all they tell Bola Tinubu the truth, they know that it will not work out well for them. So they are just there to what they can grab for themselves, not what they can do for the nation or the masses. Now, if you are there and you have a conscience, there is how you get to a particular level. When you get home, your conscience will be telling you, when you're alone, your conscience will be speaking to you that what you're doing is wrong. And
Absolutely.
for Ali Ndume, maybe he has seen that I cannot continue with this. So he just came out to say the truth, even though he has been part of them. And again, for picking people, politicians is that the way they do their things is that once you support them during their campaign, maybe financing them or maybe by chance rigging an election one way or the other, they go into agreement. So whether you are fit or not, you are given the appointment. Now, when you are given the appointment or you are voted into that office, like senator or House of Rep, whatever. Now, because they don't have the interest of those people at heart, they only have what they want to grab for themselves. They tend to look at what they can gain, not what they can do for the nation. Okay, let me shift to the ministers right now. For example, let me say Minister of Sports. You don't have passion for sports. And if you bring a minister of sports, bring a younger boy, let them talk about sports. You see that the younger boy or the younger person will flood the minister hands down. So when you don't have the
Absolutely.
interest, you don't have
Sure.
the passion
Sure.
for something, there's no way that you can see that thing will move. Tourism, you don't have passion for tourism. And again, if you want to pick a minister for tourism, you have to pick a minister that is related to maybe his cause or his faith, somebody that has passion. When you have passion, you don't look at the money, you don't look at the office or whatever that is coming into your pocket. You just want to make your name. But you see, just pick people that don't care about whatever their own is, that let's just do this thing, approve it, whether if it works or not. Like, for example, I will give kudos to Dave Umahi. Maybe it might not be perfect, but like in Port Harcourt, the LMA road that they were working, somebody was telling me that he got to a point, he has to stop them because they were not doing the proper job. And that road links to the Onne refinery, Onne seaport. And with that type of road, you need to make it solid because of the type of load the load will carry, heavy duty trucks. And what's his name? Dave Umahi asked them to do concrete base first before laying the asphalt and other things. But maybe they were not doing it, and he has to stop them. Even if the cost of price might have gone up, You're a businessman as a construction company. You're supposed to know what to do. That was why the former FCT minister said he was the governor of the FCT minister in Rivers State, Nyesom Wike. When he was the governor of Rivers State, he said when he's giving contract, he pays upfront about maybe 75, 80%. So that if there's a change in price, they know that they would have gotten most of their materials. It will not affect them. So for Bola Tinubu, I think he needs to sit down, look not just what people are telling him, he has to think on his own, listen to the masses, listen to, because Nigerians are suffering. When you come up on air and say Nigerians are suffering, they'll tell you it's globally. But if you check the economy of other nations, even though things are difficult there, their citizens are not suffering the way Nigerians are.
No,
You go
not
to the
at all.
market today, you go in the next day, you see that prices has changed. So then I think they need to pick the right set of people that has passion for whatever ministry they are heading or whatever people they are representing in the House of Rep or Senate. So they need to learn how to talk. Like I was reading something on social media about Akpabio telling a female senator that he should reduce her voice, that they are not in a club. You need to watch your word. You don't say that kind of thing. You are the third person in the hierarchy at the federal level. So I think Tinubu has a long work. I stand with Ndume on this.
Yeah, I agree with
You know,
you.
when you say the truth, people wouldn't like you until you support them. That's when they will say, yes, you're doing the right thing.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I had that statement too about Akpabio's loose statement attacking a female senator that she was speaking like someone that came from a nightclub. But I think today he has
Nightclub
retracted the statement
and
and
apologized.
has made an open apology. But these issues are real. There's escalating security. If there's no kidnapping, there'll be bombing. There's food inflation. There's hunger in the land. In fact, as a result
Everybody's
of
saying
all
it.
of this, there's a planned protest starting from the 1st of August. And like you rightly
August.
mentioned, a lot of those senators and the inner circle of the president are not being truthful to him. And like you said,
Yeah.
look at Dave Umahi. He's a professional when it comes to construction. You mentioned how
Yeah.
he had to intervene when the right thing was not done because he's not a round peg in a square hole. He's someone that knows the job. He's someone that has passion for
Yeah.
the job. But a lot of these guys were given this senatorship and all these things to compensate for their loyalty during the elections. You know, our democracy and our elections have become transactional. You help me when I'm contesting, and then I compensate you with the post.
I said to you.
I said to you. So at the end of the day, these are people that are misfits. They are kakistocrats. They
Yeah.
cannot really do the job. And the government starts to suffer. Now, the President Bola Tinubu has surrounded himself with people that are not telling him the truth because of money that they're going to eat. And it's there's a disconnect
Yeah.
between the presidency and the people. He's not in touch with the people. And there's so much hunger in the land. I mean, a bag of rice is
And the
almost
hardship, the
closing it
hardship,
at
I don't
100.
think is affecting them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't think it's affecting them.
Yeah. Oh, they're not feeling the pulse of the masses. I mean, a bag of rice is closing in on 100,000 naira. You can't buy a tuber of yam.
Somebody's salary.
Yes, that's somebody's salary. If you don't have up to 10,000 naira, and things are getting worse. Basic commodities are not affordable. So people have to shout. Now, instead of looking at the man's criticism of the Senate and being constructive about it, rather they dismiss him, saying that a senator that has 20 years of experience and a key member of the party, meaning they're taking the interest of the party and their own personal interest over and above the welfare of Nigerians, which is
The
very bad,
masses.
which
Yeah.
is very, very bad. So basically, I think they've suspended him now. I don't know what the latest now, but I really I give kudos to him for his boldness to come out and speak that way.
For
Because
coming
there are a
out.
lot of senators that share his views and his interests, but they don't have the confidence, the boldness to come out
To
publicly,
come out and talk.
yes, and say it that way. So because of time, let's quickly move on to the issue of the new minimum wage. Now, Labour and government have been on this for some months now. all of a sudden they've agreed on a
Yeah.
figure, 70,000 naira as minimum wage. What are your thoughts? Do you think this will this is actually a minimum wage? Because in the context of Nigeria, we're not just talking about minimum wage, we're talking about a living wage. Do you think this 70,000 naira for the least paid person in public sector will be enough for Nigerians to feed comfortably? What are your thoughts on the minimum wage?
When the minimum wage cannot even get a bag of rice, what are they doing?
I like that. Minimum wage can't even
The
get a bag
minimum
of
wage
rice.
cannot even get a bag of rice. I was listening to the news the other day. One of the governors from one of these northern states was saying that they can't pay the minimum wage of 70,000. That if it's 40 or 50, they can't. See, the truth about these people is that they don't care.
Yeah.
Let it affect them. Why must it be the masses? Why must it be the masses? So that minimum wage, and again, labor officials, they should have conscience. After the time of Adams or Shomole, I stopped having interest in these labor people. Because no matter how they protest and how they do anything, they will go behind. So maybe not all, maybe some of them, and they talk to them. Oh boy, have fun. I want to. Well, they say 70,000. I hope it will go, but that 70,000 is not even. Why can't they make it 150? Why must it be the ordinary man or the masses that must sacrifice? Can't they sacrifice? They should go. They should. It's not. Well, I don't have much to say about this minimum wage. They've already agreed on it.
In fact, the interesting thing is
and
that
the funniest thing, what did it, I saw something today that the Senate president was saying that the 70,000 should go across board, both private and government. when I saw that word, I said, which private sector? Maybe the private sector they're talking about, maybe those multinational and so, but for the one business private sector, I bet you that one is just to enter voicemail, and there's nothing they can do.
It's almost impossible
about it.
because it's
So,
dynamics. Because the dynamics of money making for the private sector is quite different from the public sector. It's quite different from the public sector.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the private sector is what comes in. Sector that determines what is paid out. That determines what is paid
out. Yeah.
So there's no government support or anything. So they can't mandate any private sector to adjust.
Like what somebody was saying that they stop listening to Nigeria. I can never stop listening to Nigerian news. What I do is that I select the news I watch, and also I select the national TV station I watch, because there are some stations. There's a particular station which are not mentioned. When President Buhari was in power, they will always talk about him, criticize him, talk about Jonathan. But now that President Bola Tinubu is there, they don't talk about it. So I've stopped watching their program, stopped watching this except a particular program that I watch during the daytime now that I'm on break. But apart from that, I watch a few channels, television stations, their news, and I pick the type of news I listen to.
Oh, of course. You're right about that. You're right about that. Even me myself, there's some media outlets that I don't listen to. There's some media outlets I don't listen to. And if you look at this minimum wage, it was 18,000 in 2011. That was the last time they adjusted it. You can imagine. Now you are bringing it to 70,000 today. What can 70,000 buy?
That's 70,000 now. Before they talk about it again, to be in the next 20 years.
Of course. Anyway, maybe they've settled the labor people and they've begged those ones to reach a compromise. Now, because of all this, there is a stage protest on the 1st of August. I heard today that Tinubu is already pleading with the youth that they shouldn't go out. And I saw some Twitter groups and some young people's groups saying that this time around, NSAS will be child's play. Well, anything in Port Harcourt? Have you heard anything about any movement in Port Harcourt?
Really, one thing about Port Harcourt is that on that very day that people will come out. protest. Now, if I might talk about this protest, I'm not against the protest, but my only fear about this protest is that hoodlums and so-called touts will want to hijack it. What do I mean by hijacking it? Before you know, they'll start breaking into people's shop. They'll start
Yeah,
looting. That is my fear. If
yeah.
there will be no looting, there will be no breaking of shops just to shut down things. I think is a good one for my looting. Now, federal government being afraid. Why are you afraid? You don't want to listen to these masses. Do the right thing. When you do the right thing, the people will not come out to come and what is it called? To come and protest. Now allow them to express themselves, their feeling. You said they shouldn't do it, and they're talking. So the whole thing is just somehow they are just afraid of people coming out to say the truth.
I agree with you, and that's my fear too. Because if hoodlums and motor park touts should hijack it, that will give law enforcement agents excuse to start to shoot at
Yeah,
random, and they'll start killing people, and it can
and
turn to a bloodbath.
and again, I don't know how true it is. I think Peter Obi, they're accusing Peter Obi that Peter Obi is the one instigating the. Peter Obi doesn't even have the time. How many people will he instigate? The whole masses, the whole Nigerian, they are talking about this man. Why they should allow us have free and fair election? Let the man win and let the whole world, let Nigeria see how Peter Obi can play his own part. Nigeria is like a stage. That office, the post of the presidency is like a stage. Everywhere, what's it called? Goodluck Jonathan came, played his own, he has gone. Buhari came, played his own, and he has gone. What's
Yeah,
it called now? In 2027, they should conduct free and fair election. Let Peter Obi come also and what he can do. So
yeah.
I heard Peter Obi has even sued the man for 5 billion naira
I heard
for
as well.
false accusation.
Yeah, but I wasn't really surprised
So
because that guy is a pro Bola Tinubu person. He's a spokesman, and he talked a lot of rubbish, really, Bayo Onanuga. So this is just one of the nonsense he says, just to like cover up for the president and stuff. So I'm not really surprised that he's, taking it out on Peter Obi. This is not about Peter Obi. This is about Nigerians that are hungry. There's food inflation. There's insecurity. People are hungry. A hungry man will not go,
he's an
will not
angry
just
man.
want, yes, a hungry man is an angry man. A, a hungry man will not stop at anything when it comes to, protest and stuff. And it's a constitutional right for citizens to carry out peaceful
Yeah.
protests. Once it is peaceful, they are empowered by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to do it. So I just pray the government will tread carefully. I don't want to see any loose
Yeah.
fire here and there with some trigger-happy police.
And they shouldn't use live bullets. In some foreign countries, civilized countries, what they use water.
Of course,
They
tear
use
gas,
not
water, and then
rubber.
tanks,
Yes,
tank bullets, not live
but
ammunition.
how can you use live bullets on people that are not even armed? They're
Defenseless
not having
people.
anything.
Yes. I pray
Using
that
live bullets
God
on them.
I pray God helps us in Nigeria because 2 days ago I was looking at live footage from Nairobi, Kenya, and I saw the situation in Kenya. And I looked back and I said, we're not too far away from what is happening in Kenya today.
That
The
is what
Kenya,
they are afraid of.
yeah, the Kenyans they are full of rage and they're attacking the government. They want President Ruto to step down and they don't care. But the armed forces have opened
And
fire on their own
he's still in
citizens
office.
and they're killing people
Can you
and he's still
imagine?
in office. So their own is going to lead
No
to
feeling, nothing.
catastrophe of immense proportions. I just hope global forces and players can wade into the situation and mediate between the masses and the government so there can be a win-win situation. And it was
Yeah.
increase in tax that led into the own problem. So if you look at what
Can
we
you
are facing
imagine?
in Nigeria, it's not too different from what is happening in Nairobi. So I don't know how deluded our government is. It can happen in Nigeria too. Look at all these francophone countries that have been ruled by corrupt democratic regimes. A lot of them have been taken over by military regimes. And the people are supporting these military regimes because
Yeah, they're in support of it.
they are performing better than the corrupt democratic regime. So we need to be careful in Nigeria that our situation does not spiral into this kind of mess. So we're going to
My
round up
dear.
with the Dangote refinery. the government of Nigeria is frustrating Aliko Dangote. The man cannot get crude oil to refine. And they're frustrating after spending billions, $20 billion dollars estimated in $20 billion investment by
Can you imagine?
one of the top 5 refineries in the whole world. And now
Wow.
he wants to begin to refine crude oil into finished products, but they're making it difficult for him to access it. Some international companies that are partnered with NNPC are interfering with the supply of crude and making it difficult for him. So, and the next thing they do is to, they raise a case against him that the quality of his products are inferior. When in fact, they've actually gone to do tests and they discovered that its products are even superior to the ones we're importing from outside. So it's a big mess. Nigeria has, we put ourselves in a very dire situation, and it's going to dissuade foreign investors from investing in Nigeria. I don't know what you think about
Yeah.
this whole Aliko Dangote saga. What are your thoughts, Warif?
You see, the cabal in Nigeria is very strong, very powerful. Now, maybe they've noticed that this man is trying to spoil market or spoil business for them. That's why they are, yes, because they are all businessmen.
Yeah.
They want to tell me that the companies that are refining this in abroad, it is not owned by them. Because
most of them are
even if it's not, sure, because how can you tell me that an individual will have a refinery and a whole federal government or a whole nation, 4 refineries, none of them is working? How? And they are human beings heading this thing. If their personal pocket or personal interest is not gaining much from the breakdown of this refinery, now they've seen that Dangote wants to pick up maybe the masses will benefit from this thing. They want to cripple him because it's like maybe exposing them. So everything boils down to the cabal. If
I agree with
they
you.
allow him, he will expose them. This cabal, they are very funny people. They don't care about anybody.
In fact, he has
Once you
already
begin
started
to
exposing
expose them,
Yeah.
that is it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he was talking about something about Malta that they bring in, what is it called, inferior product into Nigeria.
Yes.
Because they know that these people, they just send anything to them, they will use it. Is it not? They will use it. They are Nigerians. And maybe the man does not have that kind of mentality. And you cannot fight the government. They are the people in charge. Before you know it, they will lay one allegation on your head and they'll cripple your business. Now they want his refinery to fall into the line of NNPC. Just there, you have structure, nothing is happening.
Oh.
So they just want to frustrate the man until let him succumb to them.
Yeah, the man is even frustrated already. He has
and how do you expect
issues.
investors to come into the thing? You're talking of helping the masses. And when people want to make life easy for the masses, which will affect your business or whatever, you will not turn against the person. That's wickedness.
And that's a very
from the
good
pit
point,
of hell.
Warif. It's going to discourage foreign direct investment. Nobody's going to want to put their money in anything in Nigeria. Dangote already wanted to invest in steel in Nigeria. He has changed his mind on doing that.
Yes, he said let somebody go into that one. And
yes.
by the time he goes to another African country or another country to invest, now they'll begin to blame him.
Oh,
when your own brothers,
your country is not conducive enough for you to do business.
No.
They now want him to be sourcing his crude oil from abroad. That will add to operational cost and complicated logistics, which will make the
if I may ask,
yes.
don't we have crude oil in Nigeria? Is it not enough?
Of course.
We don't have crude oil in Nigeria anymore?
They are creating artificial scarcity so that independent marketers can continue to feed fat. And they're lying to us.
We have the manpower, we have the crude, everything.
Yes, they're lying to us. They said they have removed subsidy, but the landing cost of petrol is 1,100 naira. And NNPC is selling petrol at 580 something. The difference between 1,001 and 580, isn't it someone that is paying that difference? And yet they're lying to us that they've removed subsidy. So who is fooling who?
Like I always say, this if I may divert a little,
yes,
the military they are like, I don't know if I'll say they are not politicians. Because the level at which we've gotten to Nigeria, is even high time the military. Let's try the military. Because some people will tell you that the worst civilian government is better than the military, best military regime. To me personally, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Let them. Since democracy came into Nigeria, what have we been gaining? Nothing. It's still the same act of military. When people want to protest, you say no. Is it not military act? You don't want people to protest. That's military in disguise.
Yeah, what you say, what you say is quite in order. Although some people may not agree with us, but look at what is happening in those francophone countries now: Mali, Burkina Faso,
the citizens are in support of
Niger.
The military
the citizens,
guys.
yes, the citizens are in support. Now they formed the Sahel Alliance, and they are thinking of breaking out of ECOWAS. You know, because they don't want corruption again. Joined in fighting against imperial powers, the UK, the US, and they don't want any corrupt democratic regime. And it's the same thing we're having here. We claim that we have democracy, but the Democrats are even more corrupt than any
According to the late Fela, he said it's demonstration of grace.
Yes, demonstration of grace. That's what Fela called them.
That's what you are seeing in Nigeria.
And I remember those days Fela used to sing Suffering and Smiling. It is still happening now.
That is what we are seeing in Nigeria.
That song more than 25 years ago. We're still suffering and we're smiling.
Mr. Afolabi, see, Nigerians, even with what we are facing with bad leadership, bad government, Nigerians are still one of the happiest people on earth.
Yeah.
Just imagine if we have good leaders and good governance. Just imagine how Nigerians how Nigeria will be.
Absolutely.
But it's just that they don't care about, because they are not feeling it. They're not feeling the heat.
I do feel personally that President Bola Tinubu has good intention for Nigeria, but he has surrounded himself with people that are only interested in their pockets. And it's going to be difficult for those people.
They tell him what he wants to hear.
Yeah, they tell him what he wants to hear. And those people are not going to help him to achieve his agenda for Nigeria. As we round up, it's been a wonderful show, Warif. We've touched on the Senator Ndume's statement of senators being thieves. We've also talked about the new minimum wage. We've spoken about the planned protest, and now we're discussing the Dangote refinery. Just in a nutshell, what are your final thoughts as we round up on this evening's show?
Well, what I'll advise our Nigerian politicians and our leader is that let the Nigerian citizen comes first, because that is why you're there. Because as a leader, you have to lead by positive example.
Thank you very much. So, and I'm joining Warif. I'm joining Warif to say that as Nigerians, we are brothers. We should come together to pray for Nigeria and put Nigeria first, the country first, citizens first, and the masses first. It's still global politics, and I'm Afolabi, and I want to thank Warif for joining us all the way from Port Harcourt. We'll be back sometimes next week again to do this. Have a wonderful evening, Warif. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Good night.